I can't believe how quickly time has flown by, and I'm now celebrating my 2-year anniversary of living in Portland. My second year living in Portland was drastically different than my first year, and it was amazing to have completely different experiences living in Portland post-pandemic, so I could really see what living in Portland is truly all about.
So with this video, I wanted to basically compare and contrast what my second year of living in Portland has been like compared to my first year. If you are new to my channel, I'm Ilana. I've been living in Portland for 2 years, moved from San Francisco, and I've also been trying to navigate life and dating. So if you can relate to any of that stuff, go ahead and subscribe down below to join the Kitten Squad because I think you'll really like it here. So what happened within my second year of living in Portland? Let's start off with the month of January. So within the month of January, I decided that I just wanted to stop dating. I had deleted my dating apps a month before, so I just decided, you know what, I'm just not gonna put an effort to dating because dating was just seriously just making me so miserable, and I felt like dating in Portland was just as bad as it was in San Francisco, if not maybe even a little bit worse. For me, I just decided it was gonna be in the best interest of my mental health to not date, and so I have not been on a date in over a year, and it honestly feels amazing. I don't feel really anxious, wondering if someone's gonna text me back or if somebody likes me, or when I'm gonna see this person next, or do I have to start over when meeting someone new. I just don't wanna put myself through that, and I've just said, you know what, I'm gonna meet someone in the wild. Yes, I'll obviously have to start over, but at least like it's just gonna feel more organic if I meet someone in the wild as opposed to just meeting someone online and having it feel forced. Another thing that I started noticing within my second year of living in Portland is that Portland started getting more expensive. Now that I started getting used to living in a studio, obviously I have to pay all the bills by myself. My rent is more expensive compared to my first few months living in Portland where I was paying $900 a room, and that included my bills. Like I never had to pay for electricity or the electric bill. It was just all included in my $900 and it was just consistent every month. So things got a little bit more expensive for me, but it wasn't anything that I couldn't handle. And I also felt like that January was really cold and it was just a really rainy, yucky month. But you know, that's common for Portland. The only like Portland things that were relevant to the month of February was that I did go and get plastic surgery on my chin at Sonobella Portland. So that's located in South Portland. And what was even cool is that I even got sponsored by them. So when I did my South Portland video, and they were an awesome company to work with, I definitely would love to be sponsored by them again. But besides that, I also started hating my job even more, and that was when I was working at Cerebral. But on a more positive note, by February of 2022, I had a very established friend group. I was able to feel officially settled and knowing that like I have some awesome friends now that I've made, and I'm really thankful for these experiences. And so at least every weekend there might be some point where I'm seeing at least one friend. That has really helped me not feel lonely in this city, and I absolutely love the friends that I've made here. They're so wonderful. Then we get to March, where things get a little bit more eventful. So to start off the month of March, I officially got fired from Cerebral due to a bunch of bullshit. I'm unemployed, and this was my first time having to deal with unemployment in the state of Oregon. So clearly I had to deal with filing for unemployment, and they had a really interesting process. I had to go into their office once to like confirm my unemployment. I had to speak to somebody. It was a lot of steps, but I did notice that Oregon's unemployment benefits are so much better than California's. You would think that California would have good benefits when it came to unemployment, but nope. Oregon gives you way more money, and interestingly enough, unemployment really helps me, and it was even enough to help cover my rent while I was looking for a job. But there were some times where I did struggle with rent, and I did have to pay rent 1 or 2 times late, where I even got an eviction notice, but I'm like, no, don't worry, I got the rest of the money. But while I did have the free time, and with the money that I did have in my bank account, I wanted to explore more of Portland, and one of the best ways to explore Portland is through food cart culture. I think it's really awesome that Portland has a really, really strong food cart game here. I made a whole video about it that you can check out right here. And I thought it was really great to explore different parts of town that I haven't visited, just to go to some of their well-known food cart pods. And I really just wanted to embrace that because Portland is a big foodie city. And I've just never been to any other city that just really embraces food carts like the way Portland does. Another thing that I wanted to start doing is getting more into thrifting. Portland's also really well known for their thrift shops. So the Hawthorne district is really great for thrifting. I mean, there's other neighborhoods where you can go thrifting, but if you want to go to like a lot of vintage shops or thrift stores, I got to really venture off into Hawthorne and really explore like the thrift scene here because people are big thrifties here, and I just wanted to become more sustainable with my clothes, and that was going to be a really great way for me to save money by purchasing secondhand clothing that was going to be more affordable for me because I was looking to elevate my wardrobe and upgrade it. That was a goal that I wanted to set for myself that I never actually put on my 2022 vision board, but that was something that I really got to explore. I really like thrifting. I found a whole new love for it. Finally, the last Portland experience was seeing my first concert at the Moda Center, and that was Dua Lipa. I saw Dua Lipa with my friend Ryan, and oh my god, it was such a great show. It was my first concert after this whole pandemic where we didn't have to wear masks, and it just felt like we were back in reality again. Being able to be in a big stadium with a bunch of people unmasked, just enjoying something that we all have in common, and that is Dua Lipa. She was an excellent performer, so if you ever get the chance, go see Dua Lipa in concert. So for April, I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I don't have anything to talk about because I was actually not in Portland for the month of April. I was in Richmond for all of April because my best friend got married, and then my sister was graduating from law school in the beginning of the May, so it just didn't make sense for me to fly back and forth twice because flights from the West Coast to the East Coast, especially into a smaller airport, is really expensive. So I just stayed with my parents for that whole month, but I was really sad that I missed out on a lot of spring events that happened. But May obviously was a little bit better. So once we got to May, I got back and I obviously had to readjust into my routine again. And one thing that I wanted to do once I was back is I knew that my apartment was very disorganized. So I decided to reorganize my apartment. I became an Amazon girly. I got very heavily influenced by a lot of the things that influencers were promoting on TikTok, like a bunch of organizational bins. And I may have accidentally have gotten into a bad habit of overconsumption. And I definitely want to blame TikTok for that one. I definitely want to be better this year on not trying to overconsume as much. And I truly do like how my pantry looked, how my kitchen looked, how my bathroom looked. Organizing everything really made a huge difference in my mental health and my mood. So I'm not sorry for that one. I wanted to finally take some time to really embrace spring in May. So it was Gemini season, and I just wanted to play catch up on what I missed in the month of April. Unfortunately, I missed all the cherry blossoms. They were gone, but there were still lots of flowers around. I wanted to take more walks, and so I started doing more hot girl walks in the spring to boost my mental health and just trying to get out more, because when I was back home in Richmond, I really didn't get the chance to walk around because it's so car dependent. So I had to kind of readjust back into like not having a car and really just embracing how beautiful spring is in Portland. So June was a really fun and exciting month. There were so many things that happened in June that didn't get to happen last year. So last year, Fleet Week was canceled, or I think they actually did it virtually. And that's obviously not the same thing. So Fleet Week in Portland is where the ships come through the Willamette River and all the drawbridges go up, and it's really cool to see that. I had never actually seen the bridges go up, so that was a really cool experience for me to see. And then Rose Festival finally returned. That was not a thing last year. I didn't even know what Rose Festival was until I saw people promoting it, and I saw that they were gonna be doing like a fun carnival for it called City Fair, and so I had asked my friends if they were interested in attending this, and so we did attend it. And I also met my friend Eileen. So I met my friend Eileen through Hannah. So they have a connection through one of Hannah's family members. That's how I met Eileen. So I made a new friend in the month of June. And then also in June, I got to experience my first Pride event because Pride was canceled last year, and so I celebrated that with my friends Ryan and Jess, and it was really fun to celebrate with them, and I was really impressed with Portland's Pride celebration. And then I also got a new job in the month of June, and so that made me happy, and I knew that I was gonna finally feel comfortable again and not have to stress about my finances, and I was definitely ready to end my unemployment because I was so sick of taking that money out. So in July, the weather started to finally get better. I will say this past year in Portland, it got very, very cold. It took forever for Portland to warm up. It did not happen like that in 2021, but my friends and I, we did venture off into Washington. We went to the Mount St. Helens area, and I've been there before, and so we did a really cool hike in a cave. It was one of the hardest hikes I had ever done, but oh my god, it was so much fun. That's one of the beautiful things about living in Portland is that it's a very easy day trip to do things in Washington State. Also, I got to explore more of the beer scene while I was in Portland. Portland's really well known for some of their pubs and breweries, and so that inspired me to make a brewery video. Again, shameless plug, go watch it. Getting to explore more of the beer scene was something that I definitely wanted to focus more on, and the weather was getting warmer, so I wanted to sit out and enjoy a beer with some nice weather. Another cool thing that I got to do when I was filming my public transportation video was riding the aerial tram for the first time. That was closed for the longest time, and especially during the pandemic, they had only kept it open to people who needed it for the hospitals, and there was some point in 2022 where they opened it back up to the general public, so I knew I had to take advantage of that. It's worth the experience, and you get a really great view out of it. I also discovered Raven's Manor with my friend Ryan in Old Town Chinatown. That's now one of my favorite bars in the area, so that was a really cool experience, was to check out some new bars and nightlife there. And then also July is where I completely revamped my wardrobe. I definitely did quite a bit of shopping at the Nordstrom downtown for the anniversary sale. Summer 2022 was a good year for finally changing my wardrobe, making my clothes fit me. I donated so many clothes in the spring and early summer, and now I finally have clothes that are me, that are more edgy. I like to say my vibe is like edgy casual, but besides the point, that was another great thing that happened to me, was just doing some more shopping in the city and being able to elevate my wardrobe. Not really a Portland thing, but still. I will say August was a pretty uneventful month, but one thing that I did do was I really focused on the rooftop bar scene a ton. Portland's got a lot of great rooftop bars that I didn't really get to explore and check out last summer, so there were so many nights and days where I would bring friends with me to check out some of these awesome rooftop bars. You may or may not have seen them make like a small little appearance in my rooftop bar video. Again, go watch it. Being able to find some favorite rooftop bars that I want to go back to, especially once the weather gets warm again. Really great thing that I am glad that I got to experience and deal with this year. So for the month of September, I was really only in Portland for 5 days. I was in San Francisco for a whole week. Then I got some really sad news back home. I was home for a few days, and then I went back to Richmond for the remainder of the month. So unfortunately, I don't have much to share there. But let's go into October. So once I got back into Portland, not too long, my friend Amy had texted me out of the blue saying she was gonna be in Portland for a work trip, and so I got to see her, and you've seen Amy in a couple of my videos before. She was one of my friends from college and San Francisco, so it was really great to have her, and we got to do a lot of fun things together that we didn't get to do the last time that she came to visit me back in 2021. I just simply got to enjoy another beautiful fall in Portland. I've said this before and I'll say it again, but fall is so fucking magical. I love the foliage. It really feels like a whole witch town during the month of October. Another fun thing that I got to do was go to St. Helens, Oregon with two of my friends to go to the Halloween Town area, since that's where the movie was filmed, and they had this really fun Halloween celebration. So we went during Halloween week and we dressed up as Rocket Power characters. It was so fun, and I'm so glad that I got to do that with them. I thought November was another good month. I mean, I turned 31, and so for my 31st birthday, my friends and I went to this really luxurious brunch place called Gracie's, and it's inside, oh crap, what's the name of the hotel that it was in? I'm blanking, but it's in Goose Hollow. And so it was really fun to have like a nice bougie brunch for my 31st birthday with my friends. And then the day after that, all of us went to Astoria for a day trip. So that's close to the Oregon coast. It's like the northern Oregon coast, really close to Washington Washington State. My friends Tanner and Nicole drove us all there in their big car, and we had such a great time just checking out some awesome views, wandering in the city, seeing the Goonies house. I had never been to Astoria before, so that was something that I really wanted to do for my birthday weekends. We literally made my birthday a whole entire weekend, and I could not be any more unapologetic about it. And then while this isn't Portland related, it's still Pacific Northwest related, but I took the train up to Seattle. It was like about a 3.5-hour train ride, and so I got to visit Seattle for the first time. I've only had a layover at the SeaTac airport when I was flying back to San Francisco from the East Coast once, so that doesn't count. So it was really fun to check out Seattle. I filmed my whole entire Seattle adventure if you want to see it. I absolutely loved Seattle. It was such a fun time, and I can't believe it took me that long to get there, but now I know that I can go back anytime that I want to for a long weekend. It was a really great trip. And then we get to the last month, December. So I got to do some more fun holiday activities that I didn't get to do last year because they were closed during the pandemic. I got to see the lights on Peacock Lane. I got to experience some other fun holiday events. And then I did some traveling to San Diego, which doesn't really count. But then I closed off my year by celebrating New Year's with my two friends, Jess and Ryan, at Darcel 15, which is a really fun drag venue in Old Town Chinatown that I really recommend you check out. And well, that's basically a good recap of my second year in Portland. Definitely a lot of great things that happened. I'm excited to see what year 3 has to offer. If you liked this video and you liked hearing about my update, make sure you do give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!